Good evening, residents, neighbors, and friends. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Tim Meerbott. I'm the mayor of Cutler Bay, and I have been since 2018. In order to ensure the greatest possible safety and for our residents while having the highest possible reach, we're holding our State of the Town address virtually this year. Originally, we had envisioned a grand event for tonight, and one where our community could come together and recognize our 15th anniversary and celebrate together. However, as we all know, COVID-19 has interrupted every single aspect of our lives, and we've had to put many of our plans on hold. I'll speak more about that in a moment, but before going any further, I would like to recognize my fellow council members and a few others who are very essential to the well-being of our community. First up, of course, is our Vice Mayor, Sue Ellen Loisel. She first served as a council member in Seat 2 in 2010 and has served as Vice Mayor since 2016. I'm very disappointed that we're not able to honor her in person tonight, as this is her last State of the Town address as a councilman. But Susie, we've got a special message for you before the end of this virtual event, so just stay tuned if you would. Next, of course, is our council member in Seat 1, who's been in since 2018. That's Councilman B.J. Duncan. B.J., it's great to work with you. Next is our councilman in Seat 2. He's served on the council since 2016, and I know he's lived in this community since 1975 or 76. He's a long timer, and that's, of course, Michael Callahan. And last but not least is our council member in Seat 3, who was initially elected in 2014 and re-elected in 2018, and that's our very own Roger Coriat. So, Roger, I'm glad you're with me as well. As I've said many times before, I'm part of a remarkable council that continuously puts the needs of the community first. Although we may differ in opinion from time to time, we don't let our differences interfere in the improvement of our community. In fact, we actually recognize that the unique perspective to the table that we each bring, and it really results in a well-rounded solutions and better ideas. So I just want to really thank you, council members, for being great team players, for your dedication to our community, and for always keeping the best interests of the residents at the forefront of our town priorities. I know I've said this very many times during our council meetings, but I'm extremely proud to work with a group of individuals who put the citizens first and show a care and concern not only for the citizens, but respect for each other. So it's an honor to be with you guys, and I couldn't say that anymore, and I'm going to continue to say it. I also want to thank all the members of our town committees for their selfless work. These are residents who volunteer their time and expertise for the good of our community. Your efforts don't go unnoticed. Without our town charter officials and their staff, and any decision that the town council that I would make would not get very far. They are the engine that runs the town and the ones who carry out the plans and dreams of our community. So I'd like to thank our town attorneys from the law firm of Weiss, Sirota, Helfman, Cole, and Bierman, PL, our town clerk, Deborah Eastman, and of course, our very fine town manager, Ralph Casals, and all of our town staff. It's a great team. That's why Cutler Bay is such a great place. But last, but most importantly, is you, is the residents. You are the heart and soul of our tight-knit community. Many of our community improvements being through grassroots efforts, the decisions we make at the council echo the request of our residents. So thank you for your care and commitment to our town. Now, we know that 2020 has been one of the most challenging years we've collectively experienced in our history. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and the social unrest we've seen has stopped us in our tracks, brought on a wave of fear and uncertainty, and left our normal way of doing things in shambles. To say it's been a difficult year would be an understatement. We've lost many to disease. We've heard of inconceivable violence. Our economy has been taking a beating, and while dealing with these major losses, we couldn't even gather or embrace our loved ones and to find comfort as social distancing became the law of the land. There's never been a more perfect time than now to underlie the importance of resiliency. Cutler Bay, not only do we want to survive, but we want to thrive. In order to do so, we must continue to adapt. We must continue to innovate around obstacles, and we must continue to rise to the challenges brought on by each new day. When news of the pandemic broke, we immediately shifted our focus to the safety of our residents. Through the guidance of the CDC, we became the second municipality in the county to establish a face mask ordinance to help slow the spread of the coronavirus and protecting the most vulnerable and avoiding overwhelming our hospitals. When restaurants were forced to close their dining rooms and offer only takeout meals, we quickly established a campaign promoting the importance of supporting our local restaurants through our media outlets. As many families were reduced to a fraction of their income due to layoffs and were in need of basic necessities, we partnered with Farm Share and various elected officials to hold free distribution events. And through this partnership, we provided trunks full of groceries to more than 1,500 families. While information rapidly changed on how businesses had to operate, confusing and frustrating many business owners, we sent out our police and code enforcement officials to those businesses to help guide and clarify and provide supplemental information on the county's new normal guidelines. When on-site dining was permitted again, we temporarily relaxed our code to allow businesses to expand their outdoor seating in order to increase the opportunity for greater revenue. Together with the Miami-Dade County League of Cities and various municipalities, we urged the county to distribute federal CARES Act funding they received to its municipalities so we could develop local programs that would benefit our residents and businesses. We're still working on this initiative, but we'll announce any progress with this project through our media channels as it happens. Those are just some of our most recent pandemic resiliency initiatives. I've seen the same resilient spirit in other parts of our community as well. Our local business chambers like Accelerate South Dade, Cutler Bay Business Association, Chamber South, and South Dade Chamber of Commerce began having frequent meetings to help disseminate important and time-sensitive information and to resource to our local businesses to help them stay afloat. I've seen business owners reinvent or expand their services in order to make up for their great losses. I've witnessed businesses and residents support our first responders by providing them meals, applause, and messages of encouragement to help them through the very demanding months. I've seen parents juggle the role of being a parent, a teacher, and an employee. I've seen teachers juggle the roles of being a teacher and the unofficial IT person for their classrooms and a video director. We've all had to adapt and find means to be resilient in these uncharted waters. But being adaptable and resilient shouldn't end when the pandemic does. Being resilient is a mindset that we must use for every important decision that we make. This year, we achieved two major projects that highlights our commitment to our community's resiliency. In January, we finalized the land swap deal, exchanging our town hall building and adjacent property for 16 acres of vacant land located north of Southwest 212th Street and east of Old Cutler Road, otherwise known as the potato field. In so doing, we not only were preserving green space, which will eventually become our central park and house a municipal complex, but we also stopped the possibility of 480 residential units being developed on that land, along with the added traffic that would bring. In April, the town council and I made one of the most important environmental and resilient-focused decisions since incorporation by voting to purchase 8.43 acres of buffer land alongside Biscayne Bay. Had this decision not been made, the plans to develop it into 30 homes would have come to fruition. This parcel of land creates great environmental value. It serves as a buffer to storm surge and the growing threat of sea level rise, which not only helps protect existing property, but residents' lives. It's a rare ecotone that has the capacity to be quality habitat for over 100 different species, and it's also capable of supporting restored pine rockland, which is an endangered habitat. Although we hadn't planned to purchase the 8.43 acres within such a short time span of the land swap, we were presented with the one and only chance to preserve this parcel that otherwise would have been lost forever, to development, of course. So, aligning ourselves with the requests of our residents, we seized the opportunity and purchased the land. Appraised at $11 million, our town staff negotiated a great deal for this parcel, agreeing to a purchase price of $8.45 million with the seller. We immediately started working with our commissioner, Daniela Levina-Cava, and the Board of County Commissioners to present this property as a possible acquisition to the county's Environmentally Endangered Lands Program. I'm proud to report that through our efforts, the Land Acquisition Selection Committee has recommended the acquisition of this property, which means 50% of the purchase price will be covered by their program and will not be coming out of the town's reserves. Our town staff has also secured a $20,000 grant that will aid in the cleanup and restoration of this parcel, which we envision to remain as a green space, with added educational and recreational components, of course. While it's true that our town reserves have taken a dip this year from these major projects, followed by a $900,000 hit in our town's revenue caused by the state revenue sharing shortages from the pandemic, plus the added COVID-19 related expenditures, the council and I are committed to getting our town reserves back to a healthy level we're accustomed to. In February of this year, prior to the pandemic, and as soon as we knew we would possibly take up these major projects, we set up a financial workshop to come up with a fund balance replenishment plan. Since then, we've had multiple workshops and meetings, and every council member has met individually with our financial advisor and our finance department to review all the options available and leave no stone unturned so that we can bounce back to the reserve level we've had. We're confident that through this fund balance replenishment plan, we'll be able to quickly improve our financial resiliency. Though we did have to raise our millage rate this year to stop the trend of dipping into our reserve funds for the last few years, we continue to have one of the lowest millage rates in the county at 2.6198. A large portion of the improvements you see in our community are funded through grants that our town staff had worked to obtain. This year alone, our staff have secured over $11 million for town projects that include drainage improvements, youth programs, increasing our tree canopy, sidewalks, roadways improvements, and so much more. That's $11 million worth of projects that are not coming from the town's revenue. Our town's property value continues to rise, as we've seen a 4.4% increase in town-wide property values from the previous fiscal year, which demonstrates that we all know Cutler Bay is a great place to live. It's not by chance that Cutler Bay was listed as #1 out of 90 cities. That's #1 of 90 cities in similar size in all of Florida as the most efficient in government spending and government size in the local government report card this year. If you haven't heard about this report card, I encourage you to visit the website, floridataxpayers.com, and see for yourself how efficient Cutler Bay has been with your tax dollars and how we compare to other cities in Florida. I'm extremely proud of our past and current council and the staff for achieving this stellar rating. We remain committed to being a safe community. Throughout the pandemic, we've increased our police patrolling and developed a strategic plan to help businesses, residents understand and to follow the county's new normal guidelines. In continuation of our previous years, we are maintaining our law enforcement services as a top budget priority. We also got many wonderful projects soon coming our way that include the Franjo Road Improvement Project, which will see a complete redesign of Franjo Road. This project will mirror the Old Cutler Road and Caribbean Boulevard Complete Streets projects. We'll be holding the first public involvement meeting very soon, so please stay tuned for that. The Franjo Park Restoration and Improvement Project, which is currently underway, we hope to have that completed by spring of 2021. I'm really looking forward to that. Again, that's been a staple of the community since I was a kid and when I played ball there myself. We'll soon be rolling out an on-demand transportation service that is a mobile, app-based transit service providing residents with free door-to-door rides to and from Metrorail, the South Bay Transitway, and other transit facilities. We hope to launch that before the end of this year. Drainage improvements will be taking place in portions of Saga Bay sometime in 2021, which is part of a continuous drainage improvement project by our Public Works Department. And nearly completed, the canoe kayak launch at Lakes by the Bay Park, which will be announcing its grand opening very, very soon. So stay tuned to our media channels for that announcement. Now, as I mentioned before, Cutler Bay's 50th anniversary is in this November, and though we couldn't have a big party, we did team up with Miami Community Newspaper to create this special commemorative paper publication that includes some of our town's history, upcoming project resources, and other great information. It's a super interesting read when you go back to it, because not only do we just cover the town since we've been incorporated, but it also provides information of our town before we were incorporated, probably even before Dade County was here. It's very interesting. You may find it located in various commercial areas in town, grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, as well as town hall. You know, I welcome you to pick up a copy and read it and place it on your coffee table and share it with your neighbors. Before wrapping up tonight, I wanted to share a brief message that we prepared for our Vice Mayor, Sue Ellen Loisel, which I mentioned earlier. This is her last State of the Town address. So for our Vice Mayor, Sue Ellen, please take it away.
Susie has been our vice mayor for the last 4 years, but she's been on the council for 10 years. And in my time with her, I've seen her being the person that asks the questions that have to be asked. Very often as a council, we seem to be united on a point of view, how to vote on something, and Susie brings up the other point of view. And it means that she ends up on the minority in many votes, but a former mayor once said, "Don't trust a council that always agrees on everything." And I think that Susie has called on us to have the necessary conversations.
You can see her type of commitment to this community, and she's like a bulldog in a way. When she gets a hold of a project, she won't let it go. And a fantastic example is all the work that she's done for our age-friendly community. Getting us the age-friendly designation from AARP, the age-friendly master plan that she spearheaded with the Communities for a Lifetime. Just watching her walk around in the halls of Tallahassee, I think she knows more people in Tallahassee than the governor does. She's just amazing, and you don't get to know those type of people, just by sitting on the sidelines. You get to know all of those people in Tallahassee because you're involved and you're responsible and you're committed to your community. And, she has been a fantastic council woman. She's been a fantastic vice mayor. She's been a fantastic asset to this community, and really, really, really going to miss her on this council because she's just been so fantastic to work with.
With the Vice Mayor's commitment to an age-friendly community, with the Communities for a Lifetime Committee, age-friendly, we were the second municipality in all of Florida to get the designation from the AARP. So just her being able to kind of lead that and charge forward with that, and with her support, has been amazing for our town and for the residents of our town. And just everything that she's involved with, she takes a very practical position and mindset, and fights for what she believes in, and fights for what the residents need.
I don't think I've ever worked with another councilman who showed as much passion for the city. She really works hard to make sure that she knew all the issues, would ask exploratory questions, was never afraid to speak her mind, never afraid to vote the way that her heart was leading her. And she's just been a true blessing to our council and to our community, working with us of our vision of making Cutler Bay the best town in all of America. She's, again, compassionate, caring, smart. She's truly going to be missed from our council, that's for sure. Thank you again, Susie, for your contributions and commitment to our town. We will miss you, and on the dais, man, I know we hopefully won't be missing seeing you around town. A final thought to address on is this: as the saying goes, tough times don't last, tough people do. Cutler Bay, let's continue to do that. Let's continue to adapt and to innovate around obstacles, and let's continue to rise to the challenges brought on by each new day. Please stay tuned just for a few more moments as we prepare a wonderful segment that follows, which highlights our town projects, our charming community, prepared by some of Cutler Bay's very talented residents, Doug and Sissy Garland of White Neon Media. And thank you for tuning in tonight. May God bless America, and may God bless our beautiful town of Cutler Bay.
15 years ago, our town incorporated, and ever since then, we've kind of been able to take into our own hands our own destiny for this town. We've been able to chart our own path and kind of just really focus on what our citizens and the people that have lived and grown up in these neighborhoods need and want.
Wow, the last 15 years have been remarkable. I've been on the council for 10 of those 15 years. Our population has grown, our infrastructure has grown, the beautification, and that hometown feel never left.
Cutler Bay is kind of like it's a miracle, because it's this little kind of forgotten part of the county, but now we're like one of the premier cities in all of Dade County. Prior to incorporation, we didn't really have the county didn't provide a lot of events for our residents here in our own parks. Today, we're up to between 11 and 15 events a year. Our roadways are better, we have many more police on the streets, our streets are safer.
Preserving our ways of life, preserving our environment have been very important for Cutler Bay, and I think we've been an inspiration to the rest of South Dade.
Cutler Bay was ranked #1 in government spending. That means we are the most efficient government for spending per capita than any other city in the state of Florida. We're also ranked #1 in staffing size. So our staff is also lean and tight. We don't have any more people than what we need. We were ranked #12 in education. We have fine, great schools in Cutler Bay.
And here we are, 50,000 strong, and very proud of what we've accomplished.
You know, the COVID-19 pandemic really threw a curveball at us. Life as we knew it changed suddenly.
Many of our local business owners are residents themselves. You know, they love this town as much as their customers do. And so I think one of our biggest challenges early on was making sure they were okay. Working aggressively with the county, with the state, even with the federal government to make sure that whatever aid was being put out was getting to Cutler Bay.
We went ahead and relaxed our outdoor eating requirements so that people could go there and eat outside safely.
Many of our residents are unemployed, so trying to help them work through the unemployment system was something that I know I personally did by working with our state senators and our House of Representatives to try to do anything that we could to possibly help.
So we've been able to partner with some of these wonderful organizations to come together and have these drive-through farm share events, and that's just promoting resiliency right there. And it's been wonderful seeing all these different people from all different walks of life just coming together, picking their neighbors up when they need it, and being there for them and fighting for them.
You know, one of the number one jobs of any local government is to make sure that the tax dollars that we pay come back to improve our community. And this year alone, I think we've got over $11 million in grants for our small town.
Dade County is footing the bill to completely renovate Franjo Road in the same way that we've done Old Cutler, in the same way we've done Caribbean Boulevard. We're going to have dedicated left turn lanes, beautification. We'll have some of these, you know, the bus pull-out bays, some new landscaping. It's going to improve the looks, the feel, the aesthetic, the ability to drive on Franjo Road.
The highlights of our age-friendly action plan, some of the things that we have done is we put in an outdoor fitness area right next to the pool at Cutler Ridge Park where the seniors can go up, and it's more age-friendly. It's also for the disabled. Another one is our street projects. A lot of those projects took into account pinching the crosswalks, pinching the roadways so that you would have a shorter distance to cross the street and the cars would have to slow down, which makes it more friendly for not only seniors to cross the street, but moms with strollers or dads with their children on bikes.
We basically kind of rewrote the rules on what developers were allowed to do. Instead of having their own traffic engineer writing a report that what they want to say, we changed rules on them and said, listen, we're going to do the traffic study, and that way we're sure it's going to be accurate and reflective of the true conditions, not what they want to hear. And because of that, I think we've made some very, very good decisions about development within the town.
No matter where you go through it, the South End Mall area, it's parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot. It's all it is asphalt. What we put into place and the town council unanimously approved was increasing the amount of green space that has to be required in any sort of development on that property.
We were also able to finally complete the land swap. The 16 acres of the potato field that has been a vision since 2005 of someday having a civic center or central park in that area right there is now we're going to ensure it's a green space and someplace where the entire community can use. It's right in the geographic heart of the community.
One of the resolutions I proposed this past year that I'm very proud of calls on the town to really take proactive steps to control the spread of invasive species. And sometimes people don't realize there are certain species that are devastating to native plants, to migratory birds and other wildlife. And so by really aggressively identifying and then removing these, we are protecting the native environment that we already have.
There was this almost 9-acre land parcel there, Old Cutler and 184th, that, you know, for years and years there have been development applications and people wanting to build on there. It's adjacent to wetlands. It's adjacent to Biscayne National Park there.
Through some great negotiations between our town staff and the owners of that property, they eventually agreed to sell us that 8.5 acres. But what the best thing about this is that it's eligible in the EEL program, which is environmentally endangered land program through Miami-Dade County. Once it's approved by the county commissioners, then we're eligible to get half of our purchase price back, and we're working with them right now to have it moved to the A list, where we could potentially receive our full money back for what we purchased on that property. And we're entering into a joint agreement with us in Miami-Dade County to preserve that space, forever. So that space will never be built on again. It's preserved as a green space, and we can use it as a teaching area because we have 100 and some acres of environmentally sensitive land right next to it.
Those 9 acres will provide a buffer in the event of a hurricane, where you have sea level rise in that area, protecting Old Cutler Road and the homes on the opposite side of it. It also protects that wetland area from further development. We're preserving one of the last remaining coastal wetland zones in all of South Florida.
We've faced a lot of challenges in the 40 plus years that I've lived in this community, and every time there's been a challenge, there's always been our residents that have stood up and helped us overcome those challenges. And that's one of the things that makes Cutler Bay great.
We love our new young families that are moving into Cutler Bay, and as we grow, they will stay here and they will grow old with us too. And that's the uniqueness of Cutler Bay, is that once you get here, you don't ever want to leave.